Welcome to Alien View.
Hi, little dog. We're going out to dinner tonight with your friend Fluffy and her family. So please be ready at 5.
Okay, nice. Thanks, big dog. That sounds like fun. I really like Fluffy.
So I've noticed.
Have we decided on the agenda?
Agenda? What do you mean? There's no agenda. We're just going out to have fun.
But what will we talk about? We need to have a list of topics. Better to be prepared.
Prepared for what? This isn't a business meeting. And even if it was, an agenda doesn't mean that there can't be a bit of spontaneous conversation. Many business meetings thrive on out-of-the-box thinking and brainstorming. The key is to balance the spontaneity with some structure. At any rate, this isn't a business meeting. It's a social gathering.
Yes, but it still seems best to prepare something in advance. What if the conversation runs dry? What if everybody just sits there and stares at each other?
Tell me, little dog, have you ever been to a dinner with a group of canines who never uttered a single word and just stare at each other?
Well, there was that dog monastery I visited. Nobody spoke a word at dinner. They mostly stared at their plates. That reminds me of a funny joke. What's the difference between an extroverted mathematician and an introverted one?
I have no idea.
The extroverted mathematician stares at the other guy's paws instead of their own. Get it? So what do you think?
Think about what?
The agenda.
Have you been following our line of conversation just now? Let's examine it for a moment. You just talked about monks and then told a joke about mathematicians. How could you have predicted that? The joy of life comes from a bit of spontaneity. We dogs crave new adventures. We don't want to have stale conversations from a prearranged script. What a boring dinner that would be. Fluffy and her parents would never invite us out again.
Oh, darn. This is really disappointing.
What's the problem? Why the long snout?
Well, you see, I've been working on this new project, and so far it isn't going too well. I was sorta hoping to test things out tonight at dinner.
Uh-oh, this sounds ominous. The last time you used our friends as test subjects, it didn't go over too well. The Beagle family is still not speaking to us.
No, this doesn't involve any sort of physical intrusion.
Good. Sticking olfactory machine probes up your fellow canine's anal cavities isn't exactly respectful dinner behavior. By the way, how is that project going?
Great! I'm making excellent progress. I already have a prototype for my robotic canine butt sniffer. Patent pending. I even applied for venture capital funding. I'm gonna make a fortune. I got the idea from an article in the Dog World Tattler. I told Gramps about it, but he was skeptical as always.
Wonderful. Maybe you can give some of your millions to the Beagle family to make amends. So, what exactly is this new project that you're disappointed about?
Well, I used this amazing technique called machine learning with back propagation to build my automatic butt sniffer, so I was hoping to use the same technique for my new project.
Which is?
It's called the Friendly Dinner Companion. I'm programming a robotic dog that can serve as an entertaining, fun, and fascinating dinner companion. Think of the market for it. There are so many lonely dogs in the world. Now they can have a friend delivered to their door in a big box, bubble wrap included.
And let me guess, you were hoping to use Fluffy's family for some guidance on how to program this thing?
Exactly. I figured maybe I could try it out on them at dinner tonight.
That sounds like an epically bad idea.
Well, my machine gets trained through a process called reinforcement learning. It tries out various lines of conversation and sees how everyone reacts to it. For the comments that get more positive reaction, it will reinforce that type of behavior. So, I need some experimental subjects for my robot to gain experience on.
So, let me get this straight. You're going to potentially insult Fluffy's family by having the robot make inappropriate comments and hope your stupid machine figures out which topics to avoid?
Well, that's why I was hoping for some sort of agenda. That way, I could initialize my machine to start with some nifty topics.
Little dog, dinner conversations don't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. That's why it's impossible to predict the future. Canine behavior is too complex to put in a box. That's why so-called experts are incredibly bad at predicting the future. Whether it's the economy or the weather or the future price of biscuits, the experts never get it right. I have an idea. Why don't you program your robotic dog to just sit there instead and carefully listen? That might help it figure out how to behave.
Oh, you mean supervised learning. I suppose I could try that to start.
Or better yet, perhaps you could leave your robot dog at home. I'm sure that Fluffy and her family would appreciate that spontaneous gesture on your part. After all, if you're foolish enough to try to program canine behavior, then maybe you should test it on yourself and spare the rest of us a lot of aggravation. And consider this. Do you really want to risk Fluffy not speaking to you again?
Darn, good point. Woof!
Film actress Iman Kashawi. Voice actors Iman Kashawi, Tony Partida. Cinematography Amir Khan. Illustrations John Kelly. Sound edits Iman Kashawi. Video edits John Kelly. Website design Jonathan Kingsbury. Produced and directed by Glenn Dawson, Alien View, LLC. Copyright 2022, Alien View, LLC. All rights reserved. Any resemblance to persons living or dead is entirely coincidental or is intended purely as a satire, parody, or spoof of such persons and is not intended to communicate any true or factual information about that person. Please visit us at alienview.org.